Going to hit the halfway point of the Challenger Series regular season, and the spot in the playoffs is going to be up for grabs. I mumbled that one, but we know what we're going for. I am David Phreak Turley, and I scream, you scream, we all scream for Zirene. How's it going?
Okay, I'm just glad that it didn't end up being the next part of the cream. I'm all about the Zirene.
Zirene all over the team.
All over the team.
Wonderful. Well, to set up our day, let's see how the lineups and the standings are at the beginning of the day. Top of the table is Apex. They have been crushing it all series long.
Yeah, then in second, we've got a tie between Ember and Team Liquid Academy. TDK is in fourth, followed by Dream Team and Enemy, each holding a piece of fifth.
All right, but of course, anything can happen in our 3 series today, and it's starting out with a spotlight showdown between Dream Team and Apex.
Yes, then we will pick up the second game between Ember and Enemy, and we'll finish with Game 2 of TDK versus Team Liquid Academy.
So we're going to dive straight into our first match, which is Dream Team versus Apex, trying to bring Apex down to earth. Of course, they've gone 2-0 so far in all of their games, but despite a fairly close couple of games against Enemy last week, Apex, again, have been crushing it. They're 3 points above anyone else in the standings.
Yeah, they weren't really happy with their win over Enemy. It was back and forth, and it really was a rough series for them. It seemed like they had a big lack of communication and coordination, and largely in part to the fact that this team is playing with 2 different languages in their squad in their communication. The shot caller is making calls in English, with Keane providing in-game translations for both Eve and Police.
Yeah.
So while that works out for, big picture map movements and macro play, when it comes down to the team fights and in those moments where you are actually on edge and you're just like, I have to perform, you're going to revert to your natural language.
Yeah, absolutely. We've heard problems of that. I've talked with Moon, who's talked about how weird it is when randomly his teammates start talking in Korean. So that may be a problem down the line, but so far, the mechanics of players like Eve and Police so far have been worth it. These guys have been individually playing incredibly well in the Challenger Series. So again, Apex 2-0 in both their series. Meanwhile, though, Dream Team actually are in a roster change of themselves because their old support, Hakuho, was picked up by LCS Team Renegade, so they needed a new support here, and in his spot is Biofrost.
Yeah, it's their old new support got replaced because this is their 3rd support in 3 weeks. So Dream Team, they actually went back and forth with these different guys, and Dream Team, they've managed to pick up their first win with Hakuho last week, and that was largely thanks to the performance of Charong in the top lane. He was up against TDK's top laner, Seraph, and man, he bodied that fool. From there, he brought a lot of map pressure with his split-pushing Lulu of all things up against Seraph, who is usually this gigantic split-push threat, even when he played in the LCS.
Yep, absolutely. So definitely a player to watch out for, and we'll see what happens in this series because we're going to check out the starting lineups. On the blue side for Game 1 is Dream Team. We just talked about him. Charong up at the top lane, Fire in the jungle over from Australia, Peek and Wolf in mid, TM8 on AD carry, and the new support, Biofrost.
And facing off against them is Apex on the red side. Chris in the top lane, Eve in the jungle, Keane in mid, Police at AD carry, and Xpecial on support.
So we're going to get ourselves in a champion select in the near future, but just to recap what's going on here, we are on 6.2. Shen was already enabled a while ago, but now Jin is enabled as well. I got to talk with Sneaky at the LCS on Sunday, and I was like, so, how you like the new Jin? And he's like, how many games have you taken? And he's like, well, I'm about 20 games in so far, and he's harder than Callista. And he said Callista took him 70 games to get a handle on. So I don't expect Jin for a while. I think played well. He's probably actually quite strong and worth picking, but I don't think the players are ready for him yet.
Yeah, he might also end up being a very strong mid laner as opposed to AD carry. I know that people are flexing him back and forth and figuring it out, because when you play in the bot lane, it's a 2-on-2, right? So you're sitting there going, I have somebody to support me and help me out and like hit the root for me, and so I can follow it up. But in all actuality, you're against 2 people. So being low mobility, not having enough shots to actually change targets and make it very meaningful, does end up actually coming back to bite him. So I think that as a mid laner, he might have his time to shine. As an AD carry, I don't know yet. But people still might be figuring out builds, right? Because it took so long for people to figure out we had to get Hurricane on Callista.
Yeah, Emax, Ruin, King Hurricane. And of course, there were nerfs and buffs that changed that champion as well. So if we're going to keep drawing parallels, we may see number changes at some point. But yeah, from my experiences, Jin seemed okay in duo lanes. Certainly when people were bad at him, they were just like missing other skill shots and getting wrecked. But I see what can be good about him. But enough about Jin. We're going to get ourselves in a champion select pretty soon with the champions we are going to be seeing played. 6.3, of course, at the live server is for North America this morning. For Europe, it's already tomorrow for you guys. You're in Thursday, but that was yesterday then for you guys. But so yeah, 6.2 still. So we expect to see a lot of Corki. Rise is still insane. Gangplank's still insane. These are champions that I don't think anyone expects to miss in champion select.
Yeah, Graves doesn't have the 0.25 second delay on the explosion of his end of the line and the damage reduction, so he's actually going to be still a priority pick for a lot of people who want to be aggressive in top or jungle.
So we can talk about then what these teams have been up to so far in this series, because as a good starter, we've it's the old patch, so there's not that much to say about it, but sort of looking at what these guys have been playing before. Apex with Eve, he's been playing, carries, 2 Nidalee games in his last series. Like, he's ready to keep playing big aggressive ones. And, I sort of expect that the Koreans to sort of, the imports they're brought over from the mechanicals go, they're going to keep playing these carry types for Apex, and everyone should probably play around that.
Yeah, I think that when you look at the way that Apex is constructed, you have Chris, who can play a carry threat in the top lane. He also can play a tank. Then you have Eve, who is usually very aggressive. I think the Nidalee suits his style. I also think that getting him some type of early pressure jungler is good too. But then Keane, they've put him on Lulu, they've put him on Victor before. He's just all around a great wave clear bot. He's a good counter picker when you're on red side. But I don't know if they're going to function the same way that Gravity and his previous teams did, because they have people like Police, they have people like Chris on the roster, and Eve, who are all multi-carries here. So we have 3 carries on this team, even before you count Keane inside.
It's interesting, too, because I think about Keane's old team, and if I remember the lineup properly of Gravity, he had all tech down in the bot lane. He was just like a consistent, would show up to team fights. He was like cop plus. But you had Hanser, and we've seen with Hanser with TSM that he was actually able to, as you mentioned with Chris, kind of play anything that he wanted to, and was like a super, super solid player. Then that team just like lived or died based on how well Move played, who was like super awesome early on and then like really fell off a cliff towards the last half of the split. I don't think we're going to see those same kinds of issues here with Apex. I feel like Eve's going to continue to be very, very strong. Xpecial seems to be super solid as well in this lineup. So, Apex just feels is very complete as far as well experienced players and people who have shown that they know how to play in a pro set.
Yeah, there's a wealth of experience here on Apex. We have multiple players who played in LCS splits, multiple ones in the past, and we have people who played in LCK, who tried to qualify for LCK. Their coach, St. Vicious, has been around forever. So Apex has a lot of experience on it, and they're using that right now to dominate a lot of the macro movements, as well as outplay people in the Challenger Series.
Yeah, absolutely true. So we talk about Apex a whole bunch, and they're going to be insane. And honestly, like, this is a team that looks like they're going to continue their winning trend, but their opponents today, a team hoping to upset them here, Dream Team. I haven't gotten to cast any of them myself because they haven't been in the first 2 games yet in Challenger until today. But, Zirene, if you want to talk to me a little about what these guys have going for them.
Yeah, so basically they have Broken Shard as a coach, so he's the one who's bringing them all the strategies and picks and bans. But I think that this is a team where Schernfire, he came over, he's supposed to be a really aggressive jungler. We haven't seen it too much. I think his Elise is the only time that he really was able to come out of his shell, and it was only one of his many Elise games here. He's played 2, and he went 5-2 and 7 in one of them, but the other one was a stale performance where he was 1-1 and 1. So this guy needs to have a large impact on the map, get Chirong ahead. Chirong has shown that he can play supportive champions that are safe and dominate very, very aggressive top laners. But then the rest of the map is actually a little bit up in the air still. Their bottom lane has had 5 members rotate through it so far. So they haven't been able to play with us. Exactly. 5 members rotate through that bot lane, and it's really hard when your bottom lane is a revolving door to actually develop synergy with your team. And Peek and Wolf, I think Peek and Wolf's rather plug and play. You can put him on any team, and he's going to deliver as a mid laner that's going to have wave clear.
He's been around Challenger for a while, and he's always been like solid.
He qualified with Coast, right? But he didn't actually ever get to play, and I think they qualified 3-0 as well over Enemy.
Yeah, so they were pretty solid. So just to give you guys a quick update, we'd normally be in Champ Select right now. We had some tech issues with that. I believe, we're going to be pulling up just a team comp graphic for you guys so we can talk about the Champ Select in a little bit. The game itself is actually underway, and we'll get to that in a second as well. But right now we're just at Talking Heads. We will have the show moving forward.
I got arms too.
Well, it's true. But do your arms talk? Do you know sign language?
Well, I talk with my hands a lot.
But do you know sign language?
No, I don't. But hopefully people can understand what I'm saying.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, it's like some sub 50% of communication is actually the words, and the rest of it is delivery and how you gesture and whatnot.
There's a lot in nonverbal communication.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. However, people just listening to the stream, in case you're like, I actually watch or listen to LCS a lot while walking to, I walk to work, listen to EU LCS, so my phone will be in my pocket, and I'll just hear Pulse and everyone talking.
Yeah, a lot of people actually experience it that way. Their car, they're playing at the same time, right? You're watching other streams, you're doing all these things. So, yeah, a lot of people are probably just hearing us right now.
That's true. Isn't this interesting? So
it's probably better. We're not.
If we were signing or doing nonverbal communication, you guys wouldn't know about it. Weird, right?
Yeah.
You're missing like 80% of the show right now if you're only listening, and I feel bad for you if that's the case because there's so much to have in the show. You can look at Zirene. That's like half of it right there.
You can look at Phreak. That's the other half.
That's the inferior half. It's like yin and yang. Right? There's the good and the bad.
I'm learning to take compliments. Thank you, Phreak. Thank you.
And I just diss myself because it's easy and fun.
Don't do that to yourself.
No,
man.
it's fine.
Good.
It's fine. Total hair-wise, we're equal. Just mine's relocated.
Yeah, true.
I'm just naming things that exist right now. And by the way, for a total update, we're about 1 minute away from our sort of game progressing forward. I believe, again, the players are actually playing with no problem. We're having an issue getting it up for you guys. So you'll have that shortly. Yeah, I know. We want to have the exact same reaction to that line. This has gone badly quickly.
This is why they get us into
This is why they get us in the
so
game
fast,
within
this is
5 minutes in Challenger because you can't trust with a camera and a microphone. Oh, man.
Okay.
We have screwed up heavily.
Hopefully that graphic comes up now.
Yeah. No.
Now.
We're not going for this one.
It's like when you're at a red light and you're just like,
I know.
now?
And you're hoping to time it. No.
Now.
You watch the yellow light of the cross street.
All
right. So here's champ cycle. He's at the bottom of your screen. We're going to look down at it as well because this is our first time really looking at it as well. So pick order. I'll play it. All right. So yeah, Apex banned away Poppy, Lulu, and the Lucian. Meanwhile, Quinn, Fiora, and Callista banned away by Dream Team.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Callista has actually been played 3 of the games by Police, so taking that away as well as 2 Chris champions seems to be a good strategy, but he's still going to get Graves in the top lane. Eve is going to pick up the Callista, so he has an early aggressive jungler despite the Nidalee being first round picked for Dream Team. So they have both early aggressive junglers, and then their bottom lane, it looked like it was a Corki first pick. So the wave clear is actually taken care of on Apex's side, and they get to pick a Kassadin.
Yeah, they get to pick a super late Kassadin pickup because when you assume the Corki's mid, like you grab the Ezreal and the Nidalee and you're like, okay, we're going for a poke team. They showed the Victor pretty early, wanted a counterpick for top lane, which then allowed the Kassadin to come through as a counterpick and feel pretty good. And then they just, Graves can top, it's going to be safe, no problem, and you just pick Graves into it.
Yeah.
Or, Gnar into it.
Yeah, I always worry about counter matchups for Graves and Quinn in the top lane. I don't think there's a whole lot early on that actually does anything to them. They have intense wave clear, especially Graves just automatically shoves waves to turrets. And Gnar has the lowest base stats in the game when he's mini Gnar. Then he has the highest when he's mega Gnar. So it's just those windows of power, but I think Graves is able to exploit those. I'm not sure about this pick. I'm going to have to see what Charong is able to do on this and if he can actually get that split push threat going again.
Okay, well, we'll see if that's going to be split apart. We'll see if that opens up here in this game because we're going to get ourselves into the match right away. But before we do, tweet at Lowly Sports, use hashtag DTWin or hashtag APXWin. Let us know who it's going to be taking game 1 of this series. We are getting into it in just a second here with Apex on the blue side, Dream Team on the red, and we'll see if Apex can keep that undefeated streak alive. Here we go.
Boom, Graves already in the game, already having fun. But Apex, they have a lot of experience, and I am interested to see what Keane does because he got counterpick in the mid lane with Kassadin. We haven't seen a decent amount of Kassadin as of late.
Yeah.
Thunderlords is good on him, but you're still playing around that whole lack of wave clear and relying on Chris and Police to bring that. So not really too much of a split pusher, but he did bring TP. So we'll see.
It allowed them to... I actually do think this is a good idea, though. They have a highly aggressive team alongside an Alistar, which just fits the mold really well. If you want to play entirely just backline, Alistar can just be a peel bot. And if you want to dive in with the Graves Burst, with Corki Burst and package, with Kassadin Assassination, Alistar can do that too. Yeah. Obviously, Alistar is an insane champion right now, so he works almost every comp. But because they were able to get Alistar, I think this combination of champions works very successfully.
Yeah, every time you bring a double AD, you always have to worry about, do we have the wave clear? Hopefully you got Corki or Varus for your double AD.
It's triple marksman here.
It's true. And that's actually true, yes, because they have one core frontliner with the Alistar, like you were saying. Yeah. So they have a lot of wave clear, they have a lot of physical damage, but they also have the magic damage from Corki and Kassadin.
Yeah.
So there's assassination threat here.
It's really well-rounded, right? It can do almost anything.
Yeah.
The poke sucks,
but there's
very little poke.
Yeah, it's just the Corki. They're going to be able to take turrets so quickly, though.
Yeah.
Turrets are basically paper.
Those will get shredded. Well, we are into the early game here, and it's Dream Team jumping in onto the Apex duo lane, spotting them out and saying, you cannot start Gromp, don't pass go, no $200 for you. And it means that Police will be late to lane. I don't know if they'll miss XP. It doesn't seem likely.
It just gives the shove advantage to Dream Team.
Dream Team can guarantee level 2 first. And at a certain point, they can actually zone Apex off the wave because of that threat.
It depends on how much damage you can actually get back here, and if you hold the wave far enough forward.
They're just hard pushing.
So it's actually going to be pretty close to the turret here. Oh, yeah, keep it there, Xpecial.
That was really good by Xpecial. Yeah, he took a couple hits from the minions and from the champions to do this, but now it's frozen in front of the turret. It will push back out in a second here, but ultimately, yeah, okay. Dream Team will still get level 2 first. You can see they've already killed 2 melees off. They'll get the third one, no problem. But how's Braum going to kill him under a turret?
Exactly. Apex pulled the wave back, recognizing that they're not going to be able to get level 2 first. So now they're in a safe position to wait until they get that level 2 and not get taken advantage of because of that spike difference.
And look at that. It's because Dream Team didn't want to be in the situation. They don't want to have the Gnar versus Graves matchup, looks like, so they shoved on that second wave, recalled right away. Apex see this, and they're just going to push right out. And honestly, I don't know. Having to play chicken first usually means you lose a lot of CS.
Yeah, and also having Graves in a matchup versus an AD carry and a support isn't actually terrible for him, especially when he's already hit level 3 if you see Chris in that bot lane.
Yeah, so it's going to be the entirety of this cannon wave will be dropped. Strong will TP to the wave, and he will get everything but 2 melees. So not a lot of XP dropped, to be fair, and they got to the bot lane without missing too much beat. So Dream Team honestly pulled off the oh crap lane swap reasonably well. Their tax was using teleport, not the worst thing, and losing 2 melees, also not bad.
Yeah, it really depends on if teleport's going to be used to answer from Chris, or if he's going to hold on to it, walk to top lane because the wave isn't really in a gigantic threat of being frozen or anything. So it looks like he's just going to make the trek to top. So now he has TP advantage in the top lane. Could be a problem. You know how Chris is hyper-aggressive in lane. Chris likes to make an advantage. Speaking of advantages, though, Eve, he's out of mana. Senpai.
Here comes Senpai, jumping in, plenty of damage there. Actually gets the last hit on the Gromp, and here comes Graves. Oh, the burst, and Senpai says, whoops, I got to flash away. Chris flashes and didn't realize that Pounce is going to get him to safety.
Yeah, a little bit of a late flash there from Chris. It seemed like a quick moment of hesitation of whether or not I should chase.
He might have been reloading still, honestly, like had no offensive tools.
Yeah, at that point, I don't know if you can do it. But anyway,
I agree.
Regardless, they get the flash out of Senpai, but there's 2 flashes burned on the side of Apex for that one. So pretty much a successful invade there from Shen.
Yeah, and the Gromp was stolen. Now, Chris, of course, spent some time down in that jungle. He also didn't TP to go back to the top lane. So Apex, to do the bookkeeping on what the lane swap has done, Apex actually has lost more due to swapping the lanes back without using teleport. And so Dream Team are theoretically ahead in terms of what was available to them.
Yeah, in terms of gold, too. So they're actually physically ahead by about 500 here on Dream Team's side.
Yeah.
It's mostly due to jungle camps.
Yes, it's almost entirely from Senpai counter jungling Eve.
And that top lane farm, just a tiny bit of it, though.
Okay, well, be careful because teammate is out of mana. He spams so heavily, does not have anything for Arcane Shift. There's the flash knock-up, there's the knockback. Biofrost flashes W's over, puts the shield up, but he's still taking 1,000,000 damage, and that will be first blood going to Eve from Apex.
Eve gets that first blood, but look at this, Senpai a little bit late there. And I mean, getting first blood on your AD carry in the jungle, I mean, now he's not going to be as bullied by this Nidalee because he has pretty much equal resources now to her. So basically compensating for that difference. Still a level down, and that's what they have to worry about, but overall, triple AD carry comp, you definitely want to have this early advantage and just snowball it from there.
Yeah, really awkward sort of watching how that lane swap played out as well.
Yeah.
Of course, all the trigger wards are down from Dream Team. And honestly, they just shouldn't have been that aggressive. Like, they know they made Eve back, and then Eve will be bot side jungle, because top side jungle was clear.
Yeah.
He could only be there, and that team still played aggressive. Senpai, oh, misses the javelin.
Well, Keane just hit 6.
Yeah, which is a pretty big deal, of course, as well. Chooses not to attack Speak and Whoop, which is nice. And Speak and Whoop gets 6 as well. Keane jumped in. Didn't go for the ult there. I figured Pekin could just go for the burst. He tried to chunk his opponent down, but not really that important. Keane, of course, is already recalled for a Catalyst, and now also has the Catalyst plus full Corrupting Potion, so a ton of sustain there, making that pretty hard for Pekin to deal with.
So from what I've been seeing, Keane isn't actually using Thunderlords when he jumps in.
He has 7% magic bend, so he's Deathfire Touch.
Deathfire Touch for the Cassidy. Okay.
I mean, he wouldn't do Warlords, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have misclicked his map.
Fervor, man. No,
but
I didn't see anything
it
stacked.
would have to be DFT, if anything.
Getting a little bit of burn there every time he jumps in onto Pekin with the harassment of the Q.
Yeah, his Q poke will do Corrupting Potion plus DFT. It is a somewhat underrated mastery, I suppose. like pretty much everyone goes Thunderlord's mid lane, like practically literally, and practically literally is a weird term, but
the reason for Thunderlords though is just the base damage gets so high, and it adds really breakpoints for your assassination potential.
Yep.
So Deathfire Touch is more of a whittle down strategy, and this is kind of like what Design's dream is for Keystones. Is Keystones are an expression of how you like to play League of Legends.
Yep.
So choosing between them, it should actually be a real choice as opposed to this is just the best one.
Totally agree. Deacon puts the self shield on and has to run away because Keane is threatening. Jumps away in time for Surenfire to not land the Javelin, and Keane would just walk away safely. Doesn't lose much, but did force Peekaboo to recall. He's done a good job. He's gotten ganked twice, technically, and winning the lane.
Yeah. Ganked him as he hit 6, though. So,
yeah.
Ganking a Kassadin pre-6 is what you want, but as a lane swap scenario, it was a little strange. Surenfire had some counter jungling onto Eve, but everything all said and done, Apex still come out on top with 400 gold more, and now they're counter jungling.
Oh, really solid stuff.
So they're going
really
to be
solid by Eve.
Because it's the lane swap here. Again, they went back to it, so now it's 4-man pushing the top lane, 4-person pushing the bottom. If they go mid lane next, I actually think that the Apex team has more in terms of power spikes. You have a tier on TM8 versus a Sheen on Police. He'll be able to pick up the package, and he'll also be able to pick up a phage. So you're looking at power spikes for Apex members in terms of completed items. If you go mid, well, if he's got the package, it's definitely a big spike for him there.
Certainly something to watch for here. Rift Herald goes down. Surenfire is out of resources. He's going to need the recall to be useful here.
Actually, you're probably just going to swap lanes again and just go for turrets. So it's like a super delayed beginning of the game lane swap where you just take 4 turrets.
Yeah, everyone laned for a little bit at the start.
I want my Trinity Force.
Default 2-on-2s. Then Dream Team really wanted the lane swap here. Now Peekaboo forced to flash and try to run away. A lot of damage coming out of Eve, and they're going to go for the full dive right here. The flash in and the kill. Eve, weird ult, and he's going to get pounced on by Surenfire. Easy shutdown, turns that back around, but Peekaboo never even dealt damage. No assist to him.
Yeah, that was really strange, actually. Eve should have just ran out of the turret.
Yeah.
Aggro, and then put down his
ultimate.
ultimate.
Much later self-ult. I think Eve expected to be bursted by Peekaboo, right? This Victor has the ulti up, could have cast the E, never put any of the buttons down, and I think
he killed him first, though. Because if he had placed it down, Peekaboo would have just...
Yeah, I think he's like, I'm going to burst you, and they're like, oh, did this happen to me? And yeah, so weird death by Eve.
But he got to stand there. He got to stand there for a while and think about all the decisions he made. What have I done?
And now have a 2.5-minute long cooldown. Either way, though, it does mean Apex are in control. Top lane wave cleared out a little bit by an Ezreal True Shot barrage, but it still means top outer goes down. That means it's 2 turrets to 1 for now. Surenfire to flash away from that counter jungle.
He's still sticking around here because he wants to be able to reinforce this bot lane. And look at that. Graves in a 2v1.
He just cleared everything. That turret took literally no damage, while the Apex duo killed the turret.
Yep. That's the Graves. So I was saying it earlier.
Yeah.
2v1 for Graves is fine. He has so much wave clear with end of the line and his auto attacks. It looks like they tried to get towards the turret, and then he just popped the Q at a wall and ultied to clear the wave and do damage.
So, Dream Team wanted to lane swap. And honestly, the individual skill level of the Apex members, I would want to lane swap on them too and hope we could do it better. And Dream Team felt like they had a really well-rehearsed strategy. The second wave push, everything they kind of did in the early game looked really smart, and it was pretty well executed. But Apex, on reaction, played just as well as Dream Team. And then, when it came around to 8-9 minutes in, Apex just did it better.
It's true. They have all that experience, though. You think about how many years between these members they have in lane swap experience.
Yeah.
It's big.
I mean, Chris played in the LCS in Season 3. Like, he's been around forever. Eve played last year on Samsung in Korea. Keane's played in LCS last year as well. Yeah, Xpecial's been a professional player since before the LCS. Like, good luck, Dream Team, trying to out-macro these guys.
Yeah. And it's funny because whenever we talk about these types of things where it's how much experience people have in lane swaps, it is actually extraordinarily relevant. Because lane swaps, when you watch them, they look easy. When you do them, they are really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
You mess up one thing, and you basically, the entire thing comes down. It's like Jenga at that point. It's like, I didn't push the wave fast enough. It's like Jenga with the lane swap. It's all messed up now. So it's so difficult. I actually encourage people to go try out a lane swap, even in a custom game, like 5-on-5, right, and see if you can actually do the pushes correctly.
Bounce the wave, get back to bot lane.
Manage the wave that you're pushing. You don't want to push it too fast or too slow.
get the freeze. Yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty incredible.
Depends on matchups too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird things you can do. And it's really interesting, it's really fun, and it's hard to learn, but it can be rewarding. Either way, Dream Team had enough app control on the bot side to actually push down the Dragon. Chris is being left alone up here. Gnar will show up to the lane after missing one melee, and he'll be okay. But Chris, 109 CS. This is in a partially lane-swapped game, and he's got more CS than his AD carry. So I gotta say, APX farming magically. Keane is actually winning lane against Peekenwolf. Of course, the earlier gank from Eve helped him. Just look at the damage. He just is immune to Peekenwolf.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He has that shield, and he also pops his Corrupting Potion at the right time. Dark Seal here for Keane. Fire with the ambulance. Walks right by. But Peekenwolf's going to be fine. It's Victor with the wave clear. Xpecial with the zone and bot, but also they have Eve in the area. Interested in how Apex actually uses Eve to move around the map, because Kindred, you really want to be drawn towards your marks, but you need a team to help reinforce you those points.
And of course, similarly, Dream Team are drawn to the marks as well. Fire repeatedly takes away whatever he possibly can. But 2 blue buff steals in a row for Apex here. I don't believe the blue was stolen by a Dream Team yet this game. Fire did get a red steal earlier, so that was nice. He's doing what he can. He's actually got the sole kill on the team. No one else on Dream Team has been able to do much this game. But it just feels like Apex playing the map a bit better.
Ooh. So right now, Dream Team, they don't really have too many options. It looks like top lane is being frozen by Chris. Has a gigantic wave pushing towards him. I'm just going to break it, I guess. All right. So they didn't have minion waves that they could actually run to, but in the mid lane, pulling up their AD carry and support to try and shove this out.
Graves really can't freeze. You're almost better off just pushing as fast as you can and hoping that they didn't react in time than like feigning a slow push, which is impossible anyway, and they can get the wave whenever.
I think if you get really creative on Graves, you can freeze.
There are probably ways, but you would like have to build such a huge wave against you.
But you also have to like hug the minion from the backside and just be like, oh, only hit him. Only hit him.
Yeah, it's difficult. Now here comes Chris pushing in. Decent damage on a Biofrost. The team's going to run away. They try to do Whip Throw for the second time. Couldn't do much. Dream have actually focused quite a bit. They've gotten 1 Herald and 1 Dragon so far in this game, and now Nidalee can look for the steal. Are they going to do it? No. Blue team picks up Rift Herald. They're going to get it to Chris, so Graves can keep playing the push game with his Yomu's Swifty Boots Graves.
Exactly. With the Yomu's Ghostblade, the increased movement speed and the extra damage from his Rift Herald buff, Graves is incredibly scary at this moment. There's no armor on Chiron, except for that cloth armor, and it's basically the game now. Look at it.
Flash engage. Peekin forced to flash away, trying to stay alive. A lot of bursts coming through, but Peekin just barely is up right now. Fire showing up lungs in the Chaos Storm, trying to get rid of some of the minions, but there's still enough left for a few autos to go back in onto this wave and onto this turret here. Fire can't do much to stop this, but they do keep the turret afloat. 2 turrets health left, but Apex made 2 people recall.
Yes, Apex Chris, though, he shoved out that top wave. It's all the way at the turret. He got the TP out of Chiron. TP out of Pika were here to defend, whereas both TPs from Apex have not been used, and they have a lot of pressure now.
But it's Victor. He TP back in the mid lane and says, yeah, no. And I think Apex realized this. They're like, yeah, we've earned some cooldowns, including Xpecial's flash to get in. And, flash for flash, not the worst thing, but out they go.
Yeah, but I think that these TPs are going to come back to be very important. I think that Chris, now with the TP advantage, gets to shove pretty much without regard. He has his blue trinket now. He's a level 11 to level 10. Keane in the mid lane, same story. So he's going for split push now because he has TP, and they're going to put their wave clear Corki in the mid lane up against the wave clear of Peekenwolf's Victor. It's also a Trinity Force power spike, too.
Yeah, but it's just hard to use. Braum and Victor, I think, are, I would say, the 2 best champions in their respective roles at defending turrets. And, trying to play a mid-game push composition, not that it is, but trying to do mid-game pushes against this team will be very difficult. I think Corki is more stymied. Instead, it's lane swapping because they want Cassidy in a split push capacity. So he's got teleport over on Keane. Like, just let's keep these guys mid. They can roam to whatever situation they can show up to, but otherwise they're just holding the line and everyone else is doing the work.
Yeah, you're pretty okay when your Castin's getting farm, but
yeah,
the rest of Apex, you really have mid-game power spikes that you want to carry over and get a larger advantage on.
That's what's going to outscale Corki to a certain extent, or at least has more to wait for, right?
But also, you get to the point where there's a large amount of threat onto 2 of your AD carries. Not so much Graves because he's going to be able to buy the Sterix. Actually, I think Eve can go for that build too, the Sterix and Maw. That Victor burst doesn't actually become as huge of a factor, but it's still a large factor.
Yeah, Victor is always scary. If he's getting farm, and he is getting held a little bit down, the repeated ganks from Eve and the plays by Xpecial have denied quite a bit Keane Wolf. But yeah, late game Victor is very hard to survive against unless you're a true tank, which these champions can't itemize as. So we'll see if that time ever comes. For now, Keane Wolf still just has to farm the best he can and wait around for some openings. Bot lane cleared again. And look, this turret still just does not take any damage. And that's a rough thing for Dream Team.
Oh, Police jumping in.
Speaking of rough things for Dream Team, whoa! Look at the damage out there on the Police. Now sitting inside the Eve ulti and will heal back up for 200.
Gotta watch out for that Victor burst.
Yeah,
but Police jumped straight in there.
And maybe shouldn't have. He burned both summoners just to get away. People have pressed R and said, that's cute. Let me show you a real package, and just chunked Corki out.
Rotating towards the dragon area. Of course, you don't see the timer right now on the top left, but it does spawn. It's going to be Apex looking for their first dragon of the game here. But Dream Team, it looks like they want to fight.
We'll see if they can. Of course, Corki was low, but now Police has decent HP bar. Xpecial goes in to buy some time. Dragon goes over to Apex, and the burst comes out of Chris. There's the knockup. Biofrost Peagle is so low, but Chris can't quite kill it off. Now they can. A 2-for-0. Keane gets them both. The turn back onto Chris. They pick him up, but another kill back in for Keane. It's a 3-for-1. Surefire's next up. Flashing out of the turret. Zirene running away, and that was not a fight Dream Team really should have wanted.
And with the wave clear down, I wouldn't be surprised if Apex just push in. They're going to get this mid-tier turret, and they might be able to push another wave because there's 15 seconds on Keane Wolf now.
He has a lot of time right now for Apex. He's going to push this in, make it crash into the turret. Zirene will grab it, but now it's time to recall for Apex and heal back up. Pretty much by the book League of Legends there. You win a team fight, you get the turret, and then as your opponents are respawning, single-digit numbers, you hit the recall button.
Yep. Also make sure you shove that wave so that they have something they have to do clearing that wave. That right there, the knock-up on the end of the line, so both parts hit Keane Wolf. Block there from Biofrost, but still not enough. Keep him alive. And Chris actually uses his E to go out, but still Braum dies, Biofrost goes down, Keane Wolf goes down, so he didn't have to use his True Grit, or sorry, his Quick Draw to go in.
Yeah. Really great stuff here by Apex. 5-2 in this game. Only a 3,000 gold lead, to be honest. I would have expected a bigger lead coming into this game just based on the results of these two teams.
Yeah.
So Dream Team are playing closer than I think many would give them credit for. But Apex, of course, still with a respectable lead, and Keane got 3 kills in that fight. 7 stacks in the Dark Seal. He's going to go off.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He picked that up. You won't really,
you
won't really turn that into a Magize ever. You'll sit on that for a very long time.
Because Dark Seal is almost that efficient on its own.
Yeah.
Compared to Magize, you spend 800 gold for the privilege of your stocks being worth more. So Dark Seal is like, it's like the risk-averse snowball item.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's honestly just good. I'm pretty sure that item probably should be bought by more people.
Yeah.
Same as Cole, honestly.
You were talking about how it's better than buying a second Dorans.
I'm not sure if I ever said it was specifically better. I know you're a big fan of that, and
I know for Cole, because Cole's going to pay itself off.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about Cole. Yeah, I actually really like Cole. I think if you're ever in an awkward recall, you should go for that one. But in terms of Dark Seal, yeah, I think it fits a lot of champions, honestly. It takes up 1 slot, and it might snowball. You might sell it, and, you know, it's that efficient in the meantime.
Yeah. Setting up, though, for what looks like a Baron. Of course, Apex, they can do a Baron very quickly. They just have to have Xpecial in a place where he can tank it and survive. Because all their members are rather squishy, but they have so much damage that they'd be able to just shred it down. And the number of stacks that Eve has, it looks like 3 at the moment. He's not sitting on too much in terms of Baron damage.
Yeah. Eve also has a random dagger and has had it for a very long time. He bought it like 2nd or 3rd recall, just had 300 gold lying around, just bought it. It's like, he's not going Zerk free.
I think it's towards Rapid Fire Cannon.
Maybe. He's still finishing Mob first. Like, he literally bought that before even the longsword for either of the other items we picked up. Doesn't matter. You're right. He'll probably get it eventually. Right now, he's chilling his stats. And Dream Team doing the best they can to keep control of this game, but they're down still 3,500 here as Apex can push forward.
Keane catching that bottom wave, pushing it up, has teleport, but both members of Dream Team that have TP have it available. It does look like Apex are just trying to bait a fight or a Baron.
Oh, no! Huge misclick by TMA, jumps into the enemy team. He's just gone. huge catastrophic mistake, and now the push in for Apex. Dream Team trying to flash away, but Keane can get the slows, he can get the damage in. There's already been 2 kills picked up. Make that a 3rd! As down goes the Nidalee teleport, not required by Chorong.
Whoa, what just happened there?
He pressed E the wrong direction.
Keane was already TPing as well when that happened, and he just flipped out. TM8 jumps in, everybody says we have to save him, and that's multiple members.
You abort mission immediately when that happens. That's when you pop the evac chopper, everyone runs away, and you said, yep, once KAA, the rest are going to go back to base. We'll try again in a couple of days. Not a good thing for Dream Team. 3 for 0 in that fight. Now Baron picked up by Apex, and they're up by a ton.
There's the TP. Ease forward. Oh,
and Xpecial flash just to make sure they get him.
Throws him over towards Police and Chris, and Keane is there. Already TP'd to that ward that's in the red pit, and gets the slow on the back line with his E, and able to pick up even more. Downtown Q.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ouch.
You hate to see it happen.
Yeah, you hate to see it happen.
Everyone.
But I've made that exact play before.
Was it a good play?
No, I mean like literally in the same essential situation where I'm like, I can get oh my god, why did I do this?
Yep.
I've done the Caitlyn where like your E is the upward direction for your flash, and so I've like E'd backwards, flash forward, and been like, wait, I just went nowhere. I've done that one, or vice versa, like just so it happens. It's unfortunate.
Yep.
But now up to Apex to capitalize.
Apex though, first place team looking to just make it even larger lead between themselves and the second place team here. The Dream Team, they're looking at the bottom of the standings right now. Only 1 point, only 1 victory versus the 6 points that Apex has. So there's a big delta here. And we're approaching the halfway part of the season.
This will be actually 5 of 10 games played actually after this game right here. And Apex will have not lost any of them. They can close this game out.
Baron buff though, it's so early too. It's only 23 minutes into this game.
Yeah. 5 and 0 on Keane with 1 assist.
Oh,
jumps in, Fire can't do enough damage. Keane is just reasonably tanky for this stage of the game. Yep, 10 stacks on his Dark Seal. He's got an Abyssal Scepter as well. He's going to feel just happy.
Yeah, he's popping a lot of his potions too mid-combat, which I think is something people forget about in the mid-game. Sometimes even the early game when you have Corrupting Potion. Like if you just sit there and think about it, using a Corrupting Potion stack or even just a potion in combat is worth a Ruby Crystal in terms of combat stats.
If it goes off all the way, yeah.
Well, Corrupting Potion also gives you that dot on people, so it's hard to value that exactly.
More damage. It's actually quite strong. So, there we go. Dragon picked up the 2nd of the game for Apex, the tail end of their Baron buff. That's going to be timing out very shortly. But they were able to knock down mid-tier 2 and bot tier 2, in fact, during that whole Baron shenanigans situation. So, Capitalize got that lead quite nicely. Apex are honestly playing macro quite well. Wolf is now in a lot of danger. Full combo comes off. Keane gets stunned and will jump forward again.
Oh.
Will not jump forward again. Didn't want to keep pushing in. No vision. And he said, you know, my entire team is on the other side of the map from me. Let's not risk it.
Yeah. He could have flash R'd and possibly killed Wolf because Wolf had no R himself.
Yeah.
It could have been a kill, but you don't have the information.
Speaking of no information, Xpecial running into the team, and here comes the teleport in. Dream Team need this to work. Eve pops, you're trying to stay alive. Xpecial's ult will run out as well, and here comes the damage up, but 1 kill picked up. Here come the reinforcements though, but it's already a 2 for 0 with Xpecial dead. This is a 5v3, and Chris is on the wrong side of this fight. Chorong is now Meganar. He lands the house slow, and Chris is still running. Keane waiting in the wings to keep him alive. Chorong still jumping forward, does not have anything else to do. Dream Team just the 2 for 0. Now can they get anything else but minion waves off of this?
I don't know. I think that this is pretty much just damage control at this point, picking up the minion wave top, mid, and bottom, because they've all been shoved in here. So Apex, before this started, they had already pushed waves up. And there's really no neutral objective to take either. So Dream Team, they win the fight, but they're still going to be losing a decent amount off this map. Not gaining anything at the least.
No, they got a 2 for 0 and then let bot lane tier 2 nearly get killed. They actually will let it get killed, but now here comes the re-engage. Apex may be a bit too aggressive in this one. They're trying to run. Spartan Gauntlet slows in a red buff by TMA. Keane jumps in, but doesn't do enough damage. TMA actually, I believe, dodged force pulls with his Arcane Shift out. But look at that, too much move speed from Apex to get away cleanly.
And Keane burns his flash on that one, but Chris, he's going to continue to push up the mid lane here. Even more damage and minion wave shoving up.
Apex will not be stopped, continually trying to push despite being outnumbered in a lot of this. And they don't give up too much. Honestly, they got that top turret and didn't die for
it. Apex, even when they're on their back foot, they're still finding ways to apply pressure with singular members.
And some of that's on Dream Team not pushing the waves out properly.
Yep. Well, it's also
5v3 and they didn't shove top.
Exactly. Allocating people correctly afterwards is very important. You don't need that many people. You can have one person clear one wave. You just send your wave clear to deal with whoever is actually sieging or trying to take a turret.
And Police actually building for a turret, taking as best he can. Rocket Fire Cannon actually coming in before Sword Shoes. If you kind of poke people off, you definitely get Sword Stun before this point. Probably even before you finish Infinity Edge. But Rapid Fire will let them knock turrets down. Honestly, Apex have the team fight power to do everything but kill turrets on them, like on their own. So, sure, why not?
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I've been Rapid Fire Cannon second on purpose because, like, we're just head buying enough that all I want to do is hit turrets.
Yeah. Eve already completed his. Police looking like he's going to pick up his soon. Chris with the QSS. I actually thought at one point Shrong was going to flash, throw Chris into the wall, but Chris would have just QSS'd it.
Yeah.
So the early, or I guess kind of appropriate QSS.
Yeah.
It's before his Ma is completed. So I was a little bit like, is he just doing it for the magic resistance?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he's going with it for the magic resistance on top of when he gets the mob, but still a great item here, even though there isn't too much to actually stun you up on this Graves.
Yeah, there's Braum passive, Gnar W and R, and then if you get caught in a Victor tunnel. Those are the main ones that'll get you. And he's actually going all the way up to Ma of Malmortius as well. He's actually getting the pickaxe, which only builds into that lightstick component. So going towards that side of it.
The Mercurial?
Oh, I misspoke. Yeah, I meant to say Mercurial Scimitar.
Yeah,
My brain said Ma of Malmortius.
They both start with M.
I know. I literally meant to.
No, I totally.
My intent was saying he's not going Ma, he's getting Mercurial, and I said the opposite item.
Yeah.
So that's solid.
I do that all the time, and then I sit there and I'm like, ah. And it's like, is it too late to correct myself? So it's okay. Yeah. It's all good though. Yeah, it's just a little confusing because it used to build out of that.
Ma
That's
used
why
to build from pickaxe.
Yeah.
And now it builds from serrated dirk.
Yep. I always think that Mercurial has a BF in it, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I've had that mistake before. I have like this like awkward recall where it's like, I have 300 gold. I want Scimitar, but I don't want QSS yet. Pickaxe. Yeah.
Anyway, still sieging going on here. Apex, they haven't broke any of the inhibitor turrets just yet. It's hard to do when there's a Victor on the enemy squad, as well as a blue Ezreal that's even going to delay waves a tiny bit with the Iceborne Gauntlet. But it just looks like Baron is going to be the method of operation here for Apex. Try to have a team fight around it. Your squad is built for this, so why not? Police with the package.
Yep, which means they want to fight within the next now 20 seconds. It's a 10,000 gold lead, so they can win almost any fight they get in without any major misplays. Keane tanks the Javelin because Police was unwilling to dodge it. And you're seeing Apex play the ward control game as best they can to try to get control of this Baron. But DT, you know, to give them credit, have done a good job of keeping those wards up despite being so far down.
Yep. Apex, though, they keep shoving out mid lane, top lane, bottom lane being shoved out by Chris. Dragon looks like it might be up soon. Everybody's gravitating towards that on the side of Apex. And another stack secured here. So, Dream Team falling further and further behind the 10k gold lead mark. There doesn't seem to be too much that they're actually doing in terms of pressure. They're just waiting for Apex to misposition or push up too far and then find a way to capitalize on it. The Victor, not level 16 just yet. So he doesn't have that gigantic burst. He has burst, but it's not as big as it could be. It still has room to grow.
All right, well, we'll see how much more he can do. Death Cap's going to be really nice for him. Maybe a Lich Bane last item, but yeah, none of those huge items. Void Staff is great, as is the completed Hex Core, but yeah, a lot still to go for Pekin Wolf, and I don't think he's going to get the time. Apex, I think, would try to close this game out in the next 3 minutes here. And if they do the Baron setup properly, they should get that within the next 1.5, and then you can probably close the game out just with the Baron buff afterwards. We'll see if they can execute that properly. It is hard. Dream Team have a lot of poke and a lot of wave clear. Like, it is hard to push on these guys without Baron, which means Baron has to be the objective, and Dream Team kind of knows this.
Chris with an Elixir of Wrath in the bottom lane, just pretty much showing how much he's willing to invest in the next fight and the pushing power. It's almost gone, though, so it looks like he picked it up for what they thought was going to be the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, they got packaged around the same time, right? Like, that all kind of came in around the same time, and then Dream Team just got the wards back up, which, again, props to them. You're down 10K, and you got the wards back up. It's a pretty big deal. And, okay, they're going to let Surenfire do it, which now is a little bit risky, but he'll be fine. And, of course, Eve just clears the wards right back out. It is, of course, much harder to bait Baron against Red Team. They can drop those wards over the wall. You have to control their top jungle, which is pretty hard to do.
So last week, Apex had a series against Enemy that they actually did not like, even despite winning, because it took them so long to close it out. It was sloppy. This game, it's not super sloppy, but they have had their mispositioning.
And we're looking for now this fight in the bot lane. Chris actually having to respect Chorong here.
Yeah, Chorong actually comes out on top in that trade.
Yeah, solid.
But yeah, Apex, they're expecting a lot from themselves. They're players that have a lot of experience. They've been groomed to be winners. They have the experience of being in the LCS. A lot of these guys had a stint near the top of the standings too. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to climb back through Challenger and get to that professional scene. But they want to do it in a way that's very crisp. And we're approaching the 33-minute mark. Oh, still 10K gold lead. Hasn't expanded in a while here, and just seems like closing out the game for Apex, despite this lead, is seeming like a tough task.
Harder than it should be, certainly.
When it shouldn't be, exactly.
Absolutely agree. They have the experience here. They've got a lead. Again, Dream Team's comp is annoying to deal with, but at a certain point you do get in on this. Once again, fighting over wards in this top jungle. Xpecial holding the front line. Keane getting a nice bit of burst down, and Dream Team walking back to keep themselves alive. Pure AP on Surenfire here. You wouldn't do anything else in Italy, of course. You've already got Nara and Braum for being tanks, so triple threat, of course, on that side. Quadra threat from Apex, but it means that, of course, any one of these champions are theoretically burstable. With 34-minute builds on champions like Nidalee and Victor, yeah, you can actually knock those things down, so
here they go.
Respect to be given. Baron has been started down to 7,000 health already, revealed by blue trinkets. Will Apex stay? Will they go for the smite fight? They will not. They back up and they go for the battle on the champions. Pika Wolf is gone, and now the retreat already. Dream Team have quickly bitten off more than they can chew. Chris in the backside gets the burst. Here come the fights. Here come the kills. 3 kills, 4 kills picked up. Make that 5 as Chorong burns to death. The ace for Police. That should be the game. How do you start this with dead numbers? 35 seconds that Apex should be taking game.
And Apex finally baiting the Baron to finally close out this game.
Yeah.
And Xpecial, Flash, Pulverize, catches Pekin Wolf, and everybody else just falls to the wayside as well. Apex, they're going to go undefeated still, but they still have a game 2 to claim 9 points in the first half of the season.
5-0, 7 points so far. If they make it a 2-0, they're at 9, and they're in such a good spot here. Apex with a very well-played first 27 minutes, and then they, over the next 8, played risk-averse, kept the wards up, kept fighting for the Baron positioning, and then finally pulled the trigger. They had a ward that Chris could TP to. They had vision enough that they could have Xpecial go for a flash combo to engage up on the enemy mid laner, and finally the flank came to be, and Apex knocked that game down.
Wow, despite it being a Corki did 9,800 damage. Then Graves did 12,200, so 4,000, or I guess 3,000 more, 2,000 more. And then Kassadin did twice as much as Graves at 24,700.
Yeah, so he almost tripled Corki's damage.
Yes. Corki's a poke champion. You should be getting all of this extra just inflated damage over time. But Police, apparently his team is picking up the slack for sure, though.
Sure, yeah. He's kind of just sitting behind the desk. He's not a beat cop. Yeah. He's just, filing forms, telling people to go out there. But I think a lot of that was honestly the way the game was played. Like, I don't necessarily want to give Police a lot of flack for this one because he played reasonably well, never died. He's part of a lot of kills. But the team basically played around Keane's Kassadin. Like, they ganked from a whole bunch. He was one getting ahead. He was one of the big levers to split push with. Like, he was the guy, kind of the wedge that opened the game up, really. And it was him getting flanks in and getting these 3-4-man force pull slows, and he was one getting all the follow-up. And so, that was kind of just a natural course for how the game played out.
Yeah, and Keane got a counter pick for himself. They already picked the Victor, so he picked up the Kassadin as a counter. Even though Victor is usually considered to be a very safe blind pick, it wasn't in this case.
Yeah.
So punishable there by Apex, and I think that's a great champion to run into it. Took over the game, but of course, we can't give Police too much flack for that. He jumped in once or twice, a little bit too far forward. I think that was just that one time.
At least he lived.
Yeah, he lived, so he didn't die. But I do think that you know, when you're on Corki, there is still a little bit of a demand for you to deal at least a little bit of chip damage over time.
Sure.
Open up the game, because like you could get in positions where you're sieging.
Sure. I'm sure there's more police could have done.
But
ultimately, Apex just had Keane win the game for them. Eve got some great ganks, and it was enough to win the game. So, you know, they did it while giving up like 4 total kills. We're going to step away for a little bit while Apex and Dream Team prepare for game 2. We'll be right back. Now Fico, of course, to flash and try to run away. A lot of damage coming out of Eve, and they're going to go for the full dive right here. The flash in, and the kill. Xpecial goes in to buy some time. Dragon goes over to Apex, and the burst comes out of Chris. There's the knockup. Biofrost. Pico is so low, but Chris can't quite kill it up.
It does look like Apex are just trying to bait a fight or bear.
Oh, no! Huge misclick by TMA. Jumps into the enemy team. He's just gone. Huge catastrophic mistake. Chris in the backside gets the burst. Here come the fights. Here come the kills. 3 kills, 4 kills picked up. Make that 5. The ace for police. That should be the game.